The ability to stand up from a low chair or sofa without using your hands is a silent but powerful sign that your leg muscles, balance, and core are still working effectively, the three most important pillars of independence in old age. This is not only a familiar action every day, but also a comprehensive test of motor function, showing that you still have flexible, proactive, and confident control of your body. From a geriatric perspective, standing up without using your hands shows that you have not lost strength in your hips and thighs, that your abdominal muscles are still elastic, and that your vestibular system is well coordinated. Moreover, it is an early indicator of the risk of falling, the leading cause of serious injury and loss of self-care ability in older people. A simple test at home: try sitting in a chair with your arms crossed over your chest, then stand up slowly. If you can do it easily, it is a great sign of motor health. Harold, 76. Ohio, is a case in point. When he realized he needed to use his hands to get up from his chair, he started doing sit-ups every day. After just 2 months, he not only stood up easily, but also felt more confident and stronger when walking. According to a 2012 study in Brazil, people who could sit and stand from the floor without using their hands had an 84% lower risk of death within 6 years. This shows that healthy legs are not only the key to mobility, but also to survival, independence, and quality of life in the long term. Walking briskly without getting out of breath is not only a sign of good physical fitness, but also an important biological indicator that your cardiovascular, pulmonary, and muscular systems are working smoothly and efficiently. It is one of the most accurate indicators of longevity and quality of life in people aged 65 and older. From the perspective of geriatricians and cardiologists, the ability to maintain a steady and vigorous walking pace shows that the circulatory system is functioning well. The heart is still strong enough to pump blood throughout the body. The lungs are still providing enough oxygen, and the leg muscles, the largest muscle group, are still strong enough to work continuously. More importantly, walking briskly demonstrates respiratory and cardiovascular endurance, two core factors that help older people prevent dangerous diseases such as heart failure, atherosclerosis, hypertension, and stroke. Simply put, if you can still walk at a fast pace, without stopping to rest, without getting out of breath after a few steps, that is clear evidence that your body still has an amazing biological resilience. Many seniors think that slowing down is a natural part of aging. But in fact, a gradual decrease in walking speed is one of the earliest signs of a comprehensive decline. From the heart, lungs, to the brain and musculoskeletal system. That is why in geriatric medicine, walking speed in the first 6 meters has been considered a biological fingerprint. A person with a sustained walking speed of over 1 meter second often has a better prognosis than a slower person, even at the same age. The story of Elaine, 72, living in Portland, is living proof of that. She loved walking around the park, but one day, after just 15 minutes of light walking, she felt out of breath. Her heart was racing, and she needed to sit down. Instead of accepting this as a sign of aging, she took the initiative to change. Every morning, she started walking at a slow pace for the first 5 minutes, then increased her pace slightly for 1 minute, then slowed down again, called pillow walking with rhythm. This method not only helps the heart and lungs get used to the intensity, but also improves endurance over time. After 2 months of perseverance, Elaine was able to walk quickly for 25 minutes without resting, feeling alert, full of energy, and many years younger. From a physiological perspective, this makes perfect sense, because walking quickly activates the metabolism, improves lung capacity, increases blood flow, and releases endorphins, hormones that help refresh the spirit. A simple but extremely effective test that experts recommend doing at home is the elevator test. Walk normally for about 3 meters. Then suddenly accelerate as if trying to catch up with a closing elevator door. If you are still breathing evenly, your legs are not tired, and you do not have to stop. Congratulations! You are keeping your youthfulness from the inside. On the contrary, if you feel short of breath, dizzy, or your heart is beating fast, it is a gentle reminder that it is time to improve your cardiopulmonary endurance. The good news is that endurance can be improved at any age. Many people think that brisk walking takes a long time and is not suitable for the elderly. But in fact, you only need to walk 15-20 minutes a day, divided into 3 small stages, each stage 5-7 minutes, alternating slow rhythms, which is enough to activate the cardiovascular and respiratory systems without causing excessive pressure. In addition, it is necessary to pay attention to supporting factors to optimize efficiency. Walking shoes must fit the feet and have good cushioning. The road surface must be flat and not slippery. You should choose early morning or cool afternoon to walk. Avoid when the sun is hot or too cold. Maintaining a fast walking pace is not only beneficial physically, but also improves cognitive function, helps increase blood flow to the brain, thereby supporting memory and reducing the risk of dementia. A study in Japan showed that people who walk faster than 1.2 meters second have a 43% lower rate of Alzheimer's than those who walk below 0.8 meters second. In addition, walking also helps regulate sleep, reduce stress, improve mood and maintain a stable weight, all of which are factors that help to live a long and healthy life. From a general perspective, walking fast is not just a physical act, but a sign of a body that is still vigorous, a heart that is still resilient, and a strong will. It reflects how you face old age, not retreating, not giving up, but proactively moving forward with each steady step. So, every time you step out of the house, let your walking speed become a small test every day. No need for anyone to grade you. Just listen to your body. If you can still walk fast, without gasping for breath, without aching knees, be proud because that is proof that you are not just living, you are living well. And if you are not walking fast yet, start today, because it is never too late to walk fast towards health, initiative and longevity. Balance is one of the earliest signs of decline in physical function in older adults, but it is also one of the most overlooked. While many people worry about their heart, blood pressure, or memory, the ability to maintain balance as simple as standing on one leg is one of the best indicators of overall coordination between key physiological systems such as vision, the inner ear, and the neuromuscular skeletal system. From a neurologist and geriatrician perspective, good balance reflects not only the strength of the muscles in the legs and core, but also the acuity of the vestibular system located in the inner ear, and the ability to sense the body's position in space called proprioception. When any of these three factors are impaired, balance can become impaired silently, sometimes without being noticed until a serious fall occurs. In fact, falls remain the leading cause of death from injury in people aged 65 and older, and the majority of falls are due to a loss of balance. Therefore, assessing and training balance should be an integral part of any senior healthcare program. A simple but effective test that many doctors recommend doing at home is standing on one leg for 10 seconds. Try it now. Stand near a sturdy chair or table. Lift one leg and count slowly to 10. If you can do it without wobbling or having to put your foot down too soon, that's a very positive sign. On the other hand, if you feel unsteady or need to hold on, that's a reminder that your body needs to train to retain this important balance function. Remember, good balance doesn't come from luck. It comes from proactive maintenance and regular practice every day. The story of 77-year-old Frank from Minnesota is a case in point. One morning, he found himself holding onto a wall to put on his socks, something he had previously done easily. Instead of ignoring it, he took it as a warning. Every day while brushing his teeth, he spent exactly 2 minutes standing on one leg, alternating left and right. He also added simple exercises such as heel lifts, rotating his torso slightly while standing, and keeping his eyes fixed on one point. After just 3 weeks, he noticed that he no longer wobbled when getting dressed, walked up the stairs with more confidence, and most importantly, he felt proud of himself for regaining control of his body. From a technical standpoint, such balance exercises have a dual effect. First, they help maintain and develop the small muscle groups around the ankles, knees, and hips, areas that are prone to weakness and loss of function when not used. Second, they train the nervous system to coordinate information from the eyes, ears and body sensations, thereby improving the ability to react when unexpected situations such as slipping or missing a step occur. In addition, balance training also has an indirect but very large benefit, increasing confidence when moving, especially in people who have fallen, thereby reducing the state of fear, which can seriously reduce the quality of life in older people. Research from the University of Sydney shows that people over 70 who can stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds have a 10-year survival rate 2.5 times higher than those who cannot. Another study in Japan also found that good balance ability is directly correlated with a reduced risk of dementia, because these exercises stimulate the cerebellum, the area responsible for motor coordination and spatial awareness. This shows that balance is not only a physical skill, but also an index reflecting the sensitivity of the entire nervous system. If you find yourself unable to stand for 10 seconds, don't worry, balance can be improved at any age. Start with simple exercises, like standing on your toes for 30 seconds, walking in a straight line as if on an imaginary tightrope, lifting one leg while washing dishes or brushing your teeth, and do them regularly every day. You can also try the 4 control points exercise, standing with your feet together, then closing your eyes and holding for 10 seconds. This is more challenging because you eliminate visual cues, but it is very effective in developing other body-based sensory mechanisms. Also, be aware of risk factors that affect balance such as poor vision, vestibular disorders, side effects of medications especially sedatives, antihypertensives, inappropriate footwear, or unsafe living environments, slippery floors, slippery carpets, poor night lighting. A good balance strategy comes not only from within the body, but also from adjusting to the environment. Finally, understand that balance is not only to avoid accidents, it is also the key to maintaining independence, self-reliance and dignity in the later years of life. Every time you stand on one leg, you are not just exercising a muscle, you are exercising life. So practice like Frank, quietly but persistently, because aging does not have to be a shambling affair, but can be a steady, confident and fully lived one step at a time. The ability to sit down on the floor and stand up unassisted is a clear sign that you possess superior whole body coordination, muscle strength, and flexibility, three fundamental factors that help maintain independence, safety, and a high quality of life in old age. It is not only a seemingly simple everyday action, but also a comprehensive measure of the physiological health and mobility of the entire body. From the perspective of exercise medicine and geriatrics experts, the sit down, stand up from the floor test is one of the most accurate predictors of longevity. It requires coordination between the leg, back, abdominal, and shoulder muscles, as well as flexibility in the knee, hip, and spine, as well as balance and reflex regulation from the nervous system. In other words, if you can perform this movement without holding on to something, you are not only healthy, but also silently and effectively extending your life. Try this at-home test. Stand near a sturdy chair. Slowly lower yourself to a sitting position on the floor. You can do it cross-legged or kneeling. Then try to stand up without using your hands to support yourself on the chair or your knees. If you can do it smoothly, it's a very positive sign that you have retained your core strength and motor reflexes. But if you feel awkward, lose your balance, have to push with your hands, or need someone to help you, it's time to start practicing so you don't lose this ability. Because losing the ability to stand up from the floor often means losing your ability to live independently in the next few years. Research from Brazilian scientists shows that people who can't stand up from the floor without using their hands are 4 or 5 times more likely to lose their ability to care for themselves within 5 years. This is especially worrying if older adults have had a fall or are afraid of falling, because that fear makes them even less active, creating an irreversible cycle of decline. The real-life story of Joseph, 78, a Texas resident, illustrates the importance of maintaining floor-standing mobility. One day, when his grandson invited him to play with Lego on the carpet, he hesitated, not because he didn't like it, but because he was afraid he wouldn't be able to stand up after sitting down. That was the moment he realized he needed to take action. He started with slow squats next to a wall, combined with groin, hip, and lower back stretches. He spent 10 minutes a day practicing, listening to his body, and making progress little by little. After a month, he could not only sit comfortably with his grandson, but also confidently stand up without support, and what's even better, that confidence extended to all other daily activities. From a technical perspective, the floor standing movement integrates 3 core groups of abilities: 1 muscle strength, especially the quadriceps, glutes, abdominals, and lower back; 2 flexibility of large joints, such as the knees, hips, ankles and spine; 3 balance and coordination reflexes, which adjust the center of gravity when moving from low to high. When any of these 3 groups are weak, getting up from the floor becomes a major challenge, not only reducing the ability to participate in daily activities, but also increasing the risk of falls, fractures and loss of independence. Experts advise that maintaining or restoring this ability does not necessarily require strenuous exercise or going to the gym. Just do 5-10 times a day of sitting down on a low chair and standing up without using your hands, combined with slow breathing and balance, and your body will gradually regain its inherent flexibility and strength. In addition, you can apply additional exercises such as stretching the hip muscles with the butterfly pose, doing light push-ups to increase upper body strength, or practicing lunges to help shift the center of gravity. In addition to exercise, another important factor is psychology. Many elderly people, especially after a fall, become obsessed and avoid contact with the floor. They are afraid that they cannot stand up, afraid of being hurt, and therefore limit their movements. However, this avoidance is what causes them to lose their ability faster. A well-planned rehabilitation plan, with guidance from a professional or a supportive family member, will help older adults regain their confidence and build momentum for improving their overall mobility. It is important to remember that the ability to get up from the floor is not just for playing with grandchildren, bending down to pick up things, or cleaning the house. It is a key to survival if you fall and no one is around. People who maintain this ability have a better chance of avoiding serious complications, recovering faster, and maintaining dignity as they age. In short, if you can still sit down on the floor and stand up without assistance, you are experiencing one of the most enduring signs of active and healthy aging. If you can't do it yet, start practicing today, little by little, without rushing, because there is nothing more valuable than maintaining independence and control over your body. Old age shouldn't be a time to be trapped in fear of falling. It should be a time to prove that you're still in control of your life. From the little things like sitting down on the floor and getting back up, to the big moments like enjoying longevity and freedom. Grip strength is not just the ability to hold objects, but is also one of the most powerful and reliable predictors of longevity recorded in modern medicine. It reflects the overall condition of the musculoskeletal system, neuromuscular strength, blood circulation, and the overall physical activity level of the whole body. Many people mistakenly think that just moving the legs or the heart and lungs is enough. But according to experts in geriatrics and exercise physiology, maintaining strong hand strength not only makes it easier for you to perform daily activities, but is also closely related to independence, cardiovascular endurance, and even the ability to live many years longer. Simple actions such as opening a bottle of water, carrying a bag of groceries from the supermarket, holding a child's hand when crossing the street, or holding onto the handrail when going down the stairs, all depend on your grip strength. A large-scale study from the UK Biobank of more than 500 people found that people with strong grip strength had a significantly lower risk of death, especially from causes related to cardiovascular disease, stroke, and respiratory failure. Remarkably, this link was independent of gender, BMI, or even exercise levels, meaning that even if you don't hit the gym, maintaining good grip strength can help you live longer. This suggests that your hands are not just responsible for holding things, but also for your long-term health. The story of Richard, 75, from Boston, is a vivid example of the power of maintaining grip strength. He used to do his own weekly grocery shopping. One day, he found himself having to stop halfway up the stairs because he no longer had the strength to carry 2 small bags of groceries up the stairs. At first, he thought it was just a sign of aging. But after a physical examination, his doctor warned him that losing strength in his hands was the first sign of age-related muscle loss, and that if left untreated, it would lead to a host of consequences: general muscle weakness, an increased risk of falling, and the inability to perform daily activities such as turning on the faucet, holding a spoon, writing, or even brushing his teeth. Not wanting to lose control, Richard started with a simple plan at home: squeeze a rubber ball 3 times a day, 20 times each time, with both hands, combined with light push-ups on the kitchen counter to strengthen his arms, shoulders, and wrists. He also practiced holding a 1-liter water bottle and walking around the house for a few minutes to simulate the feeling of carrying things. After 6 weeks of perseverance, he was able to carry 2 bags of groceries without stopping, open jars without help, and clearly felt the change. Not only was his body stronger, but his spirit was also much more excited, youthful, and confident. From a functional medicine perspective, grip strength is a whole system indicator, meaning that even though you may only see one small action, it is the result of a coordinated chain reaction between the brain, spinal cord, peripheral nervous system, blood vessels, and musculature. If the nerves are compressed, the muscles are weak, the heart is not pumping enough blood, or the reflexes are slow, you will see it immediately through weakness in the hand. That's why grip strength tests are often used to screen for early functional decline in older adults. Some internists even consider it a 5th vital sign, along with heart rate, blood pressure, breathing rate, and body temperature. Improving or maintaining grip strength doesn't necessarily require going to the gym or using expensive equipment. You can do it at home with simple tools such as rubber balls, spring grips, water bottles, wrung-out wet towels, or even ceramic plates to move from one table to another. Exercises such as towel twisting, elastic band pulling, wall push-ups, or simply holding a 1-twog weight and holding it for a few dozen seconds will also help to effectively activate the muscles of the hands, wrists, and forearms. The secret is not the intensity, but the perseverance every day. Just 5-10 minutes of regular practice. You will see a clear difference after 2-3 weeks. Another point worth noting is that a strong grip also helps prevent falls in unexpected situations such as slipping. The first reflex is to hold on to something, a railing, a wall, a person next to you, and if your hands are strong enough, you can maintain your balance and avoid injury. In addition, grip strength is also related to the ability to take care of yourself, such as dressing, cooking, writing, riding a bike, fastening a seatbelt, all depend on the hands you have. In short, if you can still open a jar, hold your grandchild's hand when crossing the street, carry a small bag of groceries without getting tired, be proud, because that is a sign that you still firmly hold your longevity and quality of life in your hands. If you can't do that yet, no problem, starting today, practicing every day, you will regain the lost strength and also improve your confidence, spirit, and independence. Old age is not the time to relax, but the time when you need to hold on tighter than ever, not just with your hands, but with your belief in your own resilience. Because strong hands not only hold things, but also keep freedom, independence, and dignity for a lifetime. Climbing a full flight of stairs, about 10, without stopping or getting out of breath, is a simple but extremely reliable physiological indicator that your cardiovascular system, leg strength, and overall endurance are still working in harmony. This is not a test of athleticism, but rather a natural test of middle-aged and older adults' ability to adapt, recover, and maintain biological function. From the perspective of cardiologists and geriatricians, the ability to climb stairs without stopping is a sign that your heart is still pumping blood efficiently, your lungs are still able to exchange oxygen, and the large muscle groups in your legs, especially your thighs and calves, are still strong enough to perform the increased pressure of gravity without deterioration. In particular, the rhythmic coordination of breathing, circulation, and movement when climbing stairs is an ideal model for assessing a person's true biological age, something that blood tests or machines sometimes cannot clearly measure. In clinical practice, many cardiologists use the stair climbing test as a simple but extremely effective tool to screen for disease risk. If a person aged 65 or older can still climb one flight of stairs about 10-12 steps without stopping to catch his breath, without feeling dizzy, having an excessively fast heartbeat, or weak knees, this is a very positive sign that the cardiovascular system is still working effectively. The blood vessels are still elastic enough. The lung capacity has not decreased significantly, and the overall mobility is still good. On the contrary, if he has to stop to catch his breath after only a few steps, feels a heavy chest or weak legs, this is a reminder to the body that the functional decline is happening silently, and if there is no intervention, the risk of major complications later will increase. A real-life illustration is the story of Mr. George, 73, living in North Carolina. He had always climbed the stairs in his house, but gradually he found himself avoiding the upper floors if he didn't need to, or looking for the elevator when going to the supermarket. At first, he thought it was just an instinctive energy-saving habit, but after a physical exam, the doctor asked him directly, "Can you climb one flight of stairs without stopping?" And the answer was, "I'm not sure." That was the moment that made him decide to change. He started by committing to climbing one more flight of stairs every day. The first week, it was one flight, the next week, 2, then 3. After about 6 weeks, he was able to climb 3 flights of stairs without stopping. In addition to the physical benefits, he also noticed that he slept better, felt more refreshed, and no longer felt tired for no reason like before. From a physiological perspective, climbing stairs is a multi-level activity, meaning it requires the simultaneous and efficient functioning of multiple organ systems. The heart must contract more strongly to push blood up. The lungs must inhale deeply to provide enough oxygen. The leg muscles must contract rhythmically to create force to propel the body. And the brain must coordinate movements to maintain balance and maintain a walking pace. A person who can perform this exercise without getting tired is maintaining an optimal state of the entire system. This is also the reason why the ability to climb stairs is often referred to as a real biological age index. Many studies have shown that stair climbing speed and the ability to climb continuously without stopping are clear predictors of the ability to live independently and the risk of hospitalization within 5-10 years in the elderly. In addition, practicing climbing stairs every day also brings many indirect benefits, burning calories more effectively than walking, increasing hip-thigh strength to help prevent falls, improving blood pressure and supporting blood sugar control. More importantly, climbing stairs does not require a large space, does not require special equipment, and can be done right at home, in a familiar, safe environment. For the elderly, this is an extremely suitable form of exercise, as long as there are safe handrails and no acute bone and joint diseases such as severe knee arthritis. If you are not sure you can climb a flight of stairs without stopping, try it today. Find a staircase of about 10 steps. Walk up slowly, rhythmically, without rushing. When you reach the top, how do you feel? If you are still breathing evenly, not dizzy, No leg pain, congratulate yourself because your body is working very well. And if you have to stop, do not be disappointed. It is just a sign for you to start practicing. Exercise regularly every day. Just one flight of stairs every morning. And after a few weeks you will see the difference. Not only is it easier to climb stairs, but you can walk further, stand longer, sleep better and feel more energetic. An expert tip: don't let the elevator take away your health. Consider each flight of stairs an opportunity, a short workout that tests and strengthens the cardiovascular system, lungs and muscles. For the elderly, each step up is not only a physical progress, but also a manifestation of will and initiative in the journey of healthy living. In short, if you can still climb a flight of stairs without stopping, it is not only a sign of a healthy heart, a pair of steady legs, but also proof that you are aging intelligently, proactively, and energetically. And if you haven't done it yet, start today. One flight of stairs a day is enough to start the journey to regain vitality and longevity. If you can remember recent events, the names of people you know, or even what you had for dinner 2 nights ago, your brain is doing great. Memory is more than just a factor that helps you feel alert. It is also one of the most important indicators of cognitive health and quality of aging. From the perspective of geriatric neurologists, working memory lucidity is a sign of a healthy central nervous system. The ability to think quickly, and the stability of the hippocampus, which is primarily responsible for storing new information and converting short-term memories into long-term memories. In middle-aged and older adults, memory preservation is vital to maintaining independence, decision-making, and social connection, thereby improving quality of life in all aspects. You can test yourself with a simple exercise right now. Do you remember what you had for dinner the other night? Do you remember who you called yesterday? Or what the conversation was about? If the answer is yes, congratulations, your brain is maintaining its precious sharpness. On the other hand, if you have to think for a long time to remember, or can't remember clearly, it is a gentle signal that you should start taking care of your brain more proactively. Because, like muscles, the brain also needs to be trained every day to maintain performance and fight aging. The real-life story of Paul, 79, living in Chicago, is a typical example of maintaining sharpness as you age. Not only does he complete crossword puzzles every morning, but he can also remember the birthdays of all members of his extended family, and even learn how to use Zoom and send emails during the pandemic. His secret is simple. He spends 30 minutes every morning reading, writes in a journal every day, and makes the habit of asking questions when he hears something new. These small, repetitive actions have created a dense neural network that keeps his memory running smoothly. According to neuroscience research, writing by hand, and critical thinking activate the prefrontal cortex, the region that processes logical thinking, and strengthens the pathways that transmit information between brain regions, slowing down the process of brain atrophy with age. From a neurophysiological perspective, memory and cognitive function do not exist independently, but are deeply connected to other factors such as sleep, physical activity, nutrition, and social interaction. Insufficient sleep reduces the ability to consolidate short-term memory, while lack of physical activity reduces blood flow to the brain, thereby reducing oxygen and nutrients for neurons. A passive lifestyle, little social interaction, and lack of exposure to new information are also the reasons why the brain becomes lazy and declines rapidly. This explains why people who maintain the habit of learning, connecting, and participating in community activities often have a longer life expectancy, are more optimistic, and are less likely to suffer from diseases such as Alzheimer's or vascular dementia. Neurologists encourage seniors to exercise their brains every day with simple but effective activities: reading books and newspapers, listening to podcasts, playing chess, solving crossword puzzles, memorizing grocery lists, learning a new language, learning to play a musical instrument, retelling stories they heard or watched during the day. These actions not only stimulate different functional areas in the brain, but also create joy, increase connectivity, and improve mood, a key factor in fighting depression in old age. In addition to keeping a daily diary not only helps train the ability to recall, but also helps control emotions, reevaluate behavior, and create a personal memory archive to maintain continuity in thinking. It is impossible not to mention the role of social communication in maintaining memory. People who regularly chat with friends, relatives, neighbors, have better language reflexes, process information faster, and maintain cognitive flexibility longer. This is because social interactions force the brain to simultaneously recall information, organize sentences, recognize facial expressions, and maintain attention, creating a sophisticated exercise for both the left and right brains. If you find yourself starting to forget little things, don't worry. Memory recovery and improvement is possible with proper practice and regular maintenance. You can start with a small habit. Every night before bed, try to list in your head 3 things that happened during the day and 3 people you interacted with. This habit will activate the hippocampus and increase the ability to consolidate long-term memories. In addition, pay attention to your diet. Foods rich in omega-3s like salmon, walnuts, green leafy vegetables, berries, digs, L, and green tea have been shown to improve memory and increase the ability to protect nerve cells. In short, if you can still remember recent events, know who you talked to yesterday, and can still retell a story you read, you have a lively mind, a younger than your real age brain, and a solid foundation for living independently, happily, and fully in the years to come. And if you are not completely confident about your memory, rest assured that starting today, with small but regular actions, you can completely restore that sharpness. Because memory is not passive, it is the result of an active, curious, active and connected lifestyle. When you keep your mind active, you not only remember the past, but also write memorable chapters for your own life. If you still wake up in the morning feeling refreshed and alert, without having to reach for a cup of coffee to wake up, then congratulations, you are ahead of many people your age. A good night's sleep is not only a simple expression of rest, but also a golden time for the body to recover, regenerate and protect. From the perspective of neurologists and sleep medicine experts, deep and regular sleep is the biological maintenance station that helps the brain eliminate toxins. The cardiovascular system rest, and the immune system is most strongly strengthened. During sleep, especially in deep sleep and REM sleep, the brain processes and rearranges memories, while removing harmful proteins such as beta amyloid, which is believed to be the cause of plaque formation in Alzheimer's disease. At the same time, the heart rate slows down and blood pressure drops, creating the ideal conditions for blood vessels to rest after a stressful day, while the immune system increases the production of anti-inflammatory cells and regenerates damaged tissue. If you wake up naturally without an alarm, feel alert after 20 minutes, without dizziness, headaches, or prolonged drowsiness, then your sleep is reaching ideal biological quality. On the contrary, if you often wake up in the middle of the night, get up many times to urinate, have difficulty falling back to sleep, or wake up feeling tired and sluggish all morning, then it is an early warning that your body is having problems with the sleep-wake cycle. Poor sleep not only makes you mentally tired, but also increases the risk of dangerous diseases such as high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, obesity, memory loss, stroke and depression. Roger, 74. From Bar, Arizona, is a great example of how much sleep improvement can be achieved. He used to wake up 4 or 5 times a night, tossing and turning, listening to his racing heart, feeling dry mouth, and feeling anxious. After doing some research, he decided to try 3 simple but effective changes. Stop using electronic devices after 8 p.m. to reduce the blue light that disrupts melatonin production. Make his bedroom cooler and darker to create a more comfortable feeling, and drink a cup of caffeine-free herbal tea before bed to calm his nerves. The result? After just 2 weeks, he was sleeping for 6-7 hours straight, and after a month, he was able to sleep a full 8 hours a night without the help of sleeping pills or any other devices. From a scientific perspective, quality sleep is defined not only by duration, but also by depth, continuity, and the feeling of recovery after waking up. Many people think that 8 hours of sleep is good, but in fact, if those 8 hours are continuously interrupted, not entering the REM or deep sleep stage, the biological recovery effect will be much worse than a deep sleep of only 6 hours. Research at Harvard University shows that elderly people with stable and unfragmented sleep reduce the risk of diseases such as stroke, heart failure, and dementia by up to 40%. On the contrary, chronic sleep deprivation will disrupt the hormone cortisol, causing prolonged endogenous stress and directly affecting cognitive function, memory, immunity, and metabolism. Another particularly important factor is the circadian rhythm, the 24-hour biological rhythm regulated by the hormone melatonin and environmental light. As people age, the circadian rhythm is more easily disrupted due to a decrease in natural melatonin production, which can easily lead to early sleepiness, waking up in the middle of the night, or not sleeping deeply. Therefore, building a regular sleep routine is a must if you want to maintain quality sleep in old age. Simple but very effective measures include maintaining a fixed bedtime and wake-up time every day including weekends, limiting exposure to bright light after 8 p.m., not drinking strong coffee or tea after 12 p.m., eating an early and light dinner, turning off all electronic devices 30-60 minutes before bed, and creating a quiet, Cool and completely dark bedroom space. In addition, experts also encourage older adults to perform sleep transition activities before going to bed, such as light meditation, 4-7-8 breathing exercises, listening to soft music, or reading printed books. Avoid reading on screens. These activities help stimulate the prefrontal cortex to send release signals to sleep, thereby slowing down brain waves and creating conditions for entering a natural state of deep rest. For people with chronic sleep disorders, using herbal teas such as chamomile, mint, lotus heart, or drinking a little warm milk can support sleep without causing addiction like synthetic sleeping pills. In short, if you can still wake up every morning feeling refreshed, without needing to rely on coffee or supplements to stay awake, then you have in your hands one of the most valuable health assets: quality sleep. And if you're not sleeping well, not sleeping deeply, or waking up easily in the middle of the night, start with small things like turning off the lights early, keeping your bedroom cool, putting away your phone before bed, and prioritizing relaxation before bed. Because sleep is not just the end of the day, it's the best preparation for a new day of living fully, healthily, and energetically. And if you're sleeping well, cherish it, because it's a clear sign that your body is still working hard, smart, and aging gently and positively. Good sleep is the foundation for living long, living well, and living happily. If you are still performing many of these 8 key signs, rising from a chair without using your hands, walking quickly without getting out of breath, balancing on one leg, sitting down and rising from the floor, carrying heavy shopping bags, climbing stairs without stopping, remembering recent events well, and waking up each morning refreshed, then you are not only lucky, but you are actively shaping how you age, smarter, stronger, and entirely on your own terms. From the perspective of geriatricians and preventive medicine experts, these abilities are not genetics or fate, but the cumulative result of good habits, the will to stay active, nutritional wisdom, and mental flexibility. Retaining these basic abilities is a sign of healthy aging, meaning you are not just living a long life, but living a high-quality life, with less dependence, more energy, and more autonomy. This is the new definition of modern aging. Take a minute to ask yourself, how many of these 8 signs do you have? Leave a comment, share with your friends, parents, or grandparents, because such a small action can change someone's morning, even their life. And don't forget, subscribing to the channel is not only a way to stay informed, but also a statement that you are choosing to live a long life proactively, not waiting. Age is not the limit, you are the one who makes it. Let's live smart, live fully, and live gloriously.